Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ingrid, and in this video I'm going to show you how I make a kind of a perpetual calendar, long-term calendar, or project calendar that goes for longer than 1 year. In my case, I did it for 3 years, and the only things you need is paper, any kind of paper. In my case, I am kind of recycling the blank pages I didn't use in my Hobonichi weeks. You need pen or markers, whatever you want to decorate with, and clear tape to put the pages together, like that. So let's start. So the way I did it, I was looking at all the blank pages I didn't use in my Hobonichi weeks. And I really liked the way I did this kind of monthly side calendar for payments and things like that. And I thought maybe I could do a perpetual calendar or long-term calendar with this. The reason also was that I've been working in several projects that will take more than 1 year. And I was thinking of ways, the best way to track my progress without having to look at 3 different planners, for example. The way I did it, I went into my Hobonichi weeks. I looked here and looked for the signatures. I don't know if you can really see it there. So here is one signature in this book. That means like the pages that were stitched together as kind of a smaller book. So I looked for those in the blank pages that were left and just rip them out. So there's one, just like that. Sorry, that was off camera. So just like that, I looked for the whole like booklet, like mini booklet, and just ripped it out. And the pages I have left in here, they all have something in there. So, and some of the things are kind of personal. But yeah, that's how I did it. I just looked for a kind of a signature, pull it out, and that way I would have the fold in many of the pages, and I would just have to reinforce it with tape. I can show you how it looks when you take it out. Let me look. Okay, so here's one signature. The book will little by little fall apart. If that's okay with you, that's fine. If you don't want to, if you don't have blank pages left in your week, so you don't have a planner like this, you can just look for paper, any measure that works for you, and make sure that all the pages are the same length and size, and then you just have to paste it together. So when you have if you're doing it from a notebook, you want to have all your pages folding the same way. For example, this one folds like this, and this one folds like this. That way, when you add the tape, this creates another fold, and it creates kind of like an accordion effect, if that makes sense. Okay, so kind of like a quick demonstration of how I did my own accordion. You get the number of pages that you want. For example, here I have 3 years, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these. That means you need, if it's 12 months times 3 is 36, so you need 36 spaces. If you want to make it for longer than that, you want to multiply the number of years you want by 12 months, and you will know how many sheets of paper you need to have. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to use this black tape so you can see how it works, but obviously you're going to need a thicker tape than this, and preferably clear tape. unless you want kind of like a spine effect to the folds. So once you have them lined, you just tape them like that. And this creates another fold that goes in the opposite direction. And you just have to feel for the pages so you know how to fold it. And there goes your accordion effect. You see? And you do the same with all the pages you want to have. And you can make this as long as you want it to be. Just bear in mind that the more pages you have taped together, the thicker it will be, and it may make it harder to fold or trickier. It depends on the paper you're using, the weight of the paper, and things like that. But basically, this is what I did with 5 of this. So let me just do the folding here. You see? So here's my accordion. And this is what I want. I want to be able to lay it down and see as many months as possible. In my case, you can do it all facing the same way. The way I did it goes front and back, so it wouldn't be huge. And so I have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and then it continues with, again, January, February through June, and it ends in the back, like that. And it ends on December 2022. I would strongly recommend you do your layout with pencil. That way you can see if it goes the way you want it folds the way you want it, and it looks the way you want it to look. For me, this works great. That this way I can track 2020 at a glance, and it continues in the same side with the first 6 months of 2021, and it ends in the back with 2022. It is a little stiff because when you have all your tape down and you fold it, the kind of tape I use is not like washi tape. It's a little harder, I guess. So it hasn't loosened up. It's a little stiff right now. And in these pages, I do want to kind of reinforce the fold, because this looks like this will break apart. This is the natural fold of the Hobonichi sheets. So first of all, I'm going to use my Tombow markers. And this basically says action plan. So this is my action plan for the next 3 years for my personal projects and goals. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you are not using sheets from a bound book, it may be even easier because you just tape everything together. Just make sure you alternate the side of the tape. So if these were separate sheets, I would put the tape in this one in the back. So you may want to lay them down and skip one, like no tape, tape, no tape, tape, and go all the way through, and then turn it around, or start taping together the sides where the tape goes in the opposite side. That's to get the accordion effect, of course. If you don't care about that and just want to fold it anyway, that could work too. Feel free to experiment and try out different things to find what works best for you. So let's go back here. Look at that, like this is just gushing ink. I don't know if you can see that. There's the bubble. I don't know why that happens with these ones. Or if it's just my pens that something happened to them. But yes, they have these moments where they just like gush out ink. And have this resting here in case there is any blotting. Okay, so then we have the months like that. I'm going to put a weight in here because this tape is not cooperating. And if you have seen my previous videos, I use my Hobonichi pens for pretty much everything. So I already have the marks where I want to do the lines. So this has, so if I remember correctly, this has about 23 or 24 squares horizontally. So I just try to set the lines in the middle to separate the 2 months. If you want to have 1 month per page, that also works. As I always say, do what works best for you. I'm going to leave 4 squares for monthly goals. So there's the first 4, the next 4 for March and April. I'm going to do it Hobonichi style with all the Sundays are a different color. So when I get to the 31st, I do another line underneath. And even though February doesn't have 31 days, I'm going to continue the line to have kind of a uniform design. Okay, then February, Now that I finished adding my numbers, I like to have my little squares for goals. As I said in my February Plan With Me video, I'm trying to keep 3 goals per month. I think that's very manageable, very realistic, and keep things that I can actually achieve. 3 goals seems very reasonable. Now with my zebra gray mite liner, you can use any color you want. I am realizing this may have been a better idea to do before taping down the paper, because otherwise it kind of gets in the way. That's why it looks strange over there, because I have some tape here where I reinforced the fold, the natural fold in the paper. Every sheet is going to look the same. I'm going to have 2 months, the days, 3 squares, 4 goals, and I always like to have some blank space underneath whenever I do any kind of calendar setup for notes. I think that's always helpful. If it goes blank, that's fine, that works. It's always a useful thing to have. And once I'm going to finish with all the months, and even though January has already passed, I did have some progress in some of my main goals. That's why I felt the need to be able to track them through a period of time, because I know they're not things that will happen over a year. Those are things that take time, but I do want to be able to see my progress long term. So I'm going to fast forward this next part because it's basically the same throughout the 3 years I have in here. Okay, I finished doing all 3 years. I decided to do different colors to tell apart each, like 2020 is gray, 2021 is navy blue, and 2022 is kind of like a pinkish color. And I used the calendar page in my 5-year techo to be able to, well, I just have it here, so it was very convenient for me to just go over the next years. So this is how it ended up. I added this kind of gold rim that goes to the back. I erased everything I had in here because I'm going to center it, make it nicer, and add like some color coding for each project I have, so I can see at a glance my progress in each project without getting confused or anything. I am very, very happy with the way this turned out. If you do this at home, keep in mind that it is better to lay out your pages and add the numbers, the dates, everything, and after you're done with the design, add the tape. Otherwise, it will be on the way. Aside from that, have fun, enjoy the process, and as long as this is functional for you, you're doing a good job. I hope this video was useful. If you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you have any tips on how you did it and how you found that works better. And for me, I'm going to have this inside my Jibun techo. It fits perfectly in there. I could either have it there or here, but since this is very personal, I don't think I want to have it that that easily to see and know. So I'm going to have it here. It fits perfectly. And that's it for now. Have a wonderful day and happy planning. Bye bye.